Hey, I'm Kyle, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Movie Spreadsheet. I've got some things in store for you today. So let's add Final Destination. I didn't say Final Fantasy. Let's add Final Destination Bloodlines to the spreadsheet. Let's also create a top 5 list of deaths that have stood with me for a long period of time in over the course of like cinema history. And let's also come up with a new and innovative way of choosing the next movie. Oh yeah. Bought that at Walmart. Sorry, Megs. But first, check out this graphic on the bottom of the screen. What you need to know about this graphic is this is the key data points on my spreadsheet. What we have on one end over here is we have our third of the way is a 5.0 woman in the yard. What you have right somewhere here in the middle, I'm assuming, is going to be the average. That's a 6.012, and that's John Carter. And then finally, that top third, I think, is going to be somewhere right here. That's represented by a 7.55 and Baggio. Now, also, check out this little graphic over here. Bing, that's my hand-drawn graphic for Final Destination Bloodlines. Wow, am I terrible at drawing. But as I continue through this video, as I continue through the review, you're going to see that icon moving up so you can see where its current place is on the spreadsheet. And I'm going to do all this in hopefully under 10 minutes. All right, let's get into it. Just a reminder, this review is not spoiler free. I'm going to talk about the movie, but like, let's be honest, it's Final Destination. So like, I think we know what's going to happen, but in case you don't, you've seen the graphic that warned you about spoilers. So let's go right into the big thoughts section, which isn't always going to be here, but I've only really got one big thought about this one, and that is Tony Todd. It was so cool to see him in this movie. It's his last role for his career of his life. He passed away in November of 2024. So to have him be in this movie, which he's in the first Final Destination, and then to also allow him to have his final words in cinema history be the ones that he created and wasn't scripted. Beautiful. I'm gonna put up the lines right here on the right so you can read those. Meaningful, not only for his own life, but for Final Destination, which I think honestly is less significant than his own life. And then obviously like he's an iconic character. He was Candyman, right? So big thought, good addition of Tony Todd in this film. Okay. All right, let's get into the review. Number lines back up on the bottom. Graphic is in the corner, which you might be like, maybe put that on a t-shirt and sell it. Soon to come on a soon to come website as well. So here we go. Entertainment score, 9 out of 10. Why? Because the movie just starts. And from the very start, they're at the Skyview little Space Needle looking thing. You know it's going to go down. You know there's going to be some horrible deaths. And there are. And I don't think anything better epitomizes what Final Destination is other than your anxiety going up and down throughout the entire movie. And when you think it's over, when you think it's good, it's not. And what I'm referencing in that opening scene is the kind of annoying kid who's throwing the penny. When that kid makes it out of the Skyview Tower and bam, is immediately crushed by that piano. Wow. I mean, entertainment, 9. Final Destination is back. We can see that icon moving now. We know that the overall score right now, just based on entertainment, is a 4.5. So that means that this movie has the potential to be really high scoring on the spreadsheet, so long as it does well in achievement of goal and ending. So let's look at achievement of goal. Achievement of goal, 8 out of 10. Why? Because it does exactly what you'd expect a Final Fantasy. Oh, I see. I did it. I knew I was going to say Final Fantasy. This movie does exactly what you would expect a Final Destination movie to do. It comes up with creative and innovative ways of ending characters' lives, and it does that. The only reason why it's not higher than an 8 is because I would have liked a couple more of the deaths to be those kind of long, drawn-out ones like Eric's was or nearly was in the tattoo shop. That's kind of what we've come to expect from Final Destination. And I think, I'm going to touch on one for the end, but I think there were a couple scenes where you have like multiple deaths in quick succession where I'd prefer those to be singular deaths, more drawn out. Now, ending, 5. I hate the way this movie ends, but we can still see the icon shifting now towards that middle third. We may have, not toward the middle third, toward the top third. We may have a top third movie on our hands here, but the ending's a 5. Why? I hate when movies end with stupid last scenes. The brother and the sister getting crushed by the telephone poles was dumb. If you intend to kill those characters, then come up with the creative, long, drawn-out ways instead of having them smushed by telephone poles 1, 2 at the very end. I really didn't like that. And then let's just go right into length, which is a 9 out of 10. The reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 is because I'd actually like this movie to be a little bit longer, and I would like it to draw out 3 of the deaths, right? Like, I think the younger brother from the other family who has the spring through his head, and then the brother and the sister at the very end, I would like each of those to be sort of like a creative way of killing off a character. So right now we're at a 7.95, which is top third. That's amazing, but I do have a penalty. And there is a 1/10 deduction, so very small. This movie's going to stay in the top third for ball physics. I just hate when balls in movies don't react like they normally do in real life. So many different things you could say to that comment. But in terms of like that soccer ball hitting her in the head, it just drove me crazy. It drives me crazy. So just a 1/10 deduction, making this movie number 102, just misses out in the top 100, and an overall score of 7.85. You can see it down here now in its correct place on the spreadsheet. Now, let me address one thing before I move into that top 5 list. Some people might be like, wow, 375 movies on the movie spreadsheet, and this is nearly a top 100 movie. Why? Well, for me, the formula is really simple. If it's entertaining, and if you set out to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, then it should rate really well, and it does. So awesome job. The death that stands out in this movie for me is Eric's death in the MRI room. Just wow. Now, which one stands out to you, and what other 5 deaths in cinema history stand out? All right, let's check. Here we go. It's list time. Let's talk about the top 5 deaths in cinema history that have really stood out to me, not for their significance in like the movie, but just in terms of, wow, like that would be awful. And I think about it more than I probably should. Now, here's the criteria that I've assigned myself for this list. Number 1, it has to be a person. Number 2, it cannot be a kid. Number 3, I can't use the same movie or the movie franchise more than once, really, because like number 1 is so far easily number 1, and if I could use it as 1 through 5, then I absolutely would. So I'm setting that as a criteria, which I just looked at, even though nothing's there, except for now there's a magical box there for you. And then finally, my 4th criteria, obviously, is that I can't look anything up. I can't research it. This is just from my noggin. You have to just take my word for it. Now, let's kick it off with number 5. Number 5, Saving Private Ryan. There's a scene in Saving Private Ryan where the U.S. soldier is fighting this guy in hand-to-hand combat at the very end of the movie. Obviously, spoiler alert. And there is a knife that he picks up early in the movie, a Hitler Youth knife that he puts in his pocket. And the guy that he's fighting is a soldier that he captured, or they captured earlier. They decided to let go, and they're like, don't let him go. Like, we should execute him. Well, they let him go, and now he's battling with the guy, and the guy takes out his Hitler Youth knife, and then the German turns it on him, and the German's on top of him. He's on the bottom, and he's like slowly getting stabbed, and he's like, ah. And it's like, oh, every time that movie comes on, every time I watch that scene, any of those scenes, I'm like, please don't pick up the knife. Please don't let that guy go. Like, but you know what's going to happen, and it's stood out for me for a very long period of time. All right, number 4. Number 4 is a weird one. There is a movie from 1989 called Fat Man and a Little Boy, all about the development of like nuclear weapons, or the Fat Man and the Little Boy. And there's a scene when John Cusack's character, spoiler alert, obviously. I'm going to say spoiler alert one time, knowing that everything I talk about could spoil movies, but I'm going to tell you what the movie is first. That way, if you're like, I don't want to see it, you just skip ahead a minute. So spoiler alert, Fat Man and Little Boy, John Cusack's character knocks off the uranium or plutonium that's like spinning and he yells at everybody to stand still. And then he calculates that everybody's going to live except for himself. And then he proceeds to like die. Horrific, and has always stood out in terms of why you shouldn't play with uranium and plutonium, obviously, because it's just laying around. Number 3, as a tummy ache survivor, as one who frequents the tummy ache, Alien or Romulus, when the face hugger gets on the guy's face and it's just like boom, and it's pumping that full of like, I don't know, like what are those babies, and it's gonna like incubate inside of him. But then in Alien Romulus, like now he's like glued to the wall, and the thing is like moving through him, it's gonna burst out of him. It's like horrific, awful. Would not enjoy that, for the record. All right, number 2, Apocalypto. There is a scene in Apocalypto in which Jaguar Paw is running through the woods trying to escape his like captors, and there's a jaguar that's chasing him. And well, one of his captors gets in the way, and that jaguar bites on the guy's face, like bites him like right here, and it is brutal to watch. It's always stood out for me, and the sound of it is just another level. But what is number 1? What is for me easily, and I would fight this one I'd fight this one out with anybody in the comment section. Easily worst death of cinema history all time, and that is from Anaconda's Jon Voight's death. When he is wrapped up by the giant anaconda, he's squeezed to death. You hear his bones breaking. He can't move, and then that snake is just looking right at him, like just red. Oh my! That's it. That's as bad as it gets for me. So easily Anaconda, Jon Voight's death. I hope you enjoyed my top 5 death list inspired by Final Destination, Bloodlines. Let's choose next week's movie. Let's go. Favorite. It's time for the part of the video I've been most looking forward to all day, and I only have one take at this, so this has got to be good. And I'm already kind of blowing it right now. But up here on the screen, you're going to see all the categories that these balls are going to represent. So if it is black, I'm going to call my dad and I'm going to say, hey, what's the last good movie you watched? I'm going to review it. I'm going to rate it. I'm going to rank it. I'm going to put it on that spreadsheet. If it is red, I'm going to watch Netflix number 1 or 2 or 3 based on which ones I have seen. Obviously already. Number 1's K-Pop Demon Hunter, so I'll have to move down the list. If it's light blue, I'm going to run to my personal collection wall. I'm going to choose a movie I want to watch. I'm going to add it to the spreadsheet. Pump for that one. I really want light blue. If it's orange, I'm going to go to the theater and I'm going to watch the F1 movie, and I'm going to be pumped for it because, and the reason why it's orange and it's on here is because Valtteri Bottas, Sergio Perez, they returned to the grid in F1 in 2026 with Cadillac. So a little current event, tying into movies. Wonderful. Who else does this? Dark blue is going to be the monkey. If it is green, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to buy a movie, which is never a good idea, that I haven't seen. I'm going to watch it, review it, rate it, rank it, put it on the spreadsheet, probably regret it. If it is maroon, I'm going to watch Hell of a Summer. If it's purple, I'm going to watch Thursday Murder Club. And if it's brown being this is like the poopiest of all the options, I'm going to go to the theater and I'm going to watch the box office number 1, which right now is K-Pop Demon Hunters, so I can't do that. Number 2 is Weapons, can't do that. Number 3 is Freakier Freaking Friday. So, what does fate have in store for me? Going backwards to build the suspense. Forward till a ball comes out. And it's blue. I will be watching The Monkey. So, no further comments about that one. But remember, like, subscribe, comment movies you want me to watch, and I'll make sure I replace these colors with movies that are suggested. Keep recommending and sharing this to other people. And as always, have an awesome day. Keep watching movies. Catch you in the next one.